Good evening, I'm Prasad, and this is KiniNews. Najib Abdul Razak is facing 4 counts of abuse of power and 21 counts of money laundering involving billions of ringgit. However, he couldn't be produced in court today because of a solid reason: diarrhoea. The High Court in Kuala Lumpur has again postponed Najib Abdul Razak's 2.28 billion ringgit 1MDB corruption trial today. This is because the former Prime Minister is still down with diarrhoea. Kuala Lumpur Hospital clinical specialist Dr. Mohd Fadhli Ikram Karim told trial judge Collin Lawrence Sequerah that the accused this morning was complaining of suffering from loose stool. Fadhli explained that upon his examination of Najib today, he found that the accused to be still suffering from active diarrhoea. The doctor said Najib showed signs of high risk of dehydration and risk of low blood pressure. He added that they had to keep the accused warded at HKL with an intravenous drip to keep him hydrated, as well as to monitor him constantly. The doctor told the court in his expert opinion that Najib is unfit to attend court as there is a risk of dehydration. The trial before Sequerah will resume on June 21st. Najib is facing 4 counts of abuse of power and 21 counts of money laundering involving 2.28 billion ringgit from 1MDB. Azam Baki will continue leading the MACC for another year, and he has made it clear he will not bow down to pressure from critics. MACC Chief Commissioner Azam Baki is not perturbed by his critics. In an interview with New Straits Times, he said he is okay with being attacked by his critics because there may be those who don't like him or want him out of the system. He said it's not his problem if someone does not like him. He said this when quizzed on how various parties had attacked him left, right and centre. Previously, Azam was embroiled in a share ownership scandal that raised questions about conflict of interest. However, he claimed the shares were not his but purchased by his brother under his name. This prompted the Securities Commission to also probe if there was possible misuse of his trading account. The SC eventually revealed that Azam had control over his own account and that there was no proxy trading involved. According to Azam, the agency is dealing with more corruption cases involving high-ranking government officials as well as women. He said MACC has seen an increase in the number of women being involved in corruption. In 2019, only 9 women were convicted of corruption-related crimes, but this jumped to 57 last year. Gerakan and PAS may be sleeping in the same bed, but that does not mean they agree with each other on every issue. Today, Dominic Lau explained why he disagrees with Hadi Awang when it comes to the correlation between race and corruption. Gerakan President Dominic Lau said an individual's racial background is not a contributing factor to corruption. When met by Malaysia Kini, he reminded past President Abdul Hadi Awang that all individuals have the potential to prosper based on their own efforts. On Tuesday, Hadi reiterated calls for the Malays to unite, saying the race is being openly conned. The Marang MP also claimed that Malays have lost their political power and are being deceived due to their ignorance. Hadi did not mention any names but reportedly slammed Malays who work with non-Muslims and non-Malays who he claimed are the biggest plunderers. Responding to this, Lau said he disagreed that non-Malays are thieves. He also disagreed with views labelling non-Muslims and non-Malays as a major source of corruption in the country. Lau explained that this is because history has shown that race is not a determining factor for corruption. For context, PAS is Gerakan's partner in Perikatan Nasional. It's hard to tell how Bersatu feels about Azam Baki after its bank accounts were seized by the MACC. Meanwhile, PAS appears glad Azam Baki is staying. PAS is happy that Azam Baki has finally been vindicated following his contract extension as MACC chief. In a statement today, PAS Secretary General Thakiuddin Hassan said the party had always believed Azam's denial over allegations of amassing wealth beyond his means. Thakiuddin said his service extension proves that PAS was correct and vindicates Azam and the MACC from irresponsible people with vested interests. Noting that Azam's service was extended despite reaching mandatory retirement age, he said this proved he was an effective graft buster. Yesterday, the government announced that Azam's term as MACC chief has been extended by a year, effective May 12. He was appointed in 2020 during the Muhyiddin Yassin administration. In the run-up to the 2022 general election, PKR Deputy President Rafizi Ramli even threatened to look for Azam if Pakatan Harapan formed the federal government. However, after Harapan came to power, Rafizi clarified that he did not threaten to go after Azam. UMNO is gearing up to fight toxic and racial politics, and the charge is being led by Ahmad Zaid Hamidi himself. UMNO President Ahmad Zaid Hamidi has called on party members to adopt a more progressive approach to counter the toxic racial politics peddled by the enemy. In a statement in conjunction with UMNO's 77th anniversary today, Zahid said the party's foe is building up negative propaganda as they are now uneasy about UMNO's position in the government. He said the enemy is busy sowing hatred and extreme prejudice in the minds of the Rakyat, especially the youth, who are only starting to fulfill their democratic responsibilities as voters. Although the Bagan Dato' MP did not mention names, the enemy he referred to is believed to be the opposition coalition Perikatan Nasional. PN has often been accused of resorting to racial narratives to gain political brownie points. Zaid further said the perception is peddled consistently until a dangerous reality is formed in the people's minds. Elaborating, the BN chairperson said youngsters are the most affected by the negative narrative. To counter this, Zaid urged UMNO members to look within themselves to realize their responsibilities to society. Zahid said UMNO's role in the coalition government had allowed the party to lead the country better by collaborating with other partners in the government. He said therefore it is crucial for them to revive UMNO and turn it into a stronger party. Low Si Hong's fight to nullify the conversion of her children has been dealt a major blow. Low Si Hong failed in her legal bid to nullify the unilateral conversion of her 3 children to Islam. This afternoon, the High Court in Kuala Lumpur dismissed the single mother's judicial review over the religious status of her 2 twins, aged 14, as well as a son, aged 11. Her former husband, Muhammad Nagaswaran Munyandi, converted to Islam in 2020 and then converted their children without her consent after having allegedly run off with them in 2019. Having been awarded custody of the children in 2021, Low was only reunited with them in early 2022 via a court order. During online proceedings today, Judge 1 Ahmad Farid 1 Saleh ruled that the children have been validly converted to Islam in accordance to Perlis Islamic State law. The civil court judge pointed out that an affidavit by Perlis Islamic Council and Malay Customs Council Chief Muhammad Nazim Muhammad Noor showed that the children showed intent via their actions to continue to be in Islam even when they were under the custody of Low last year. Referring to Low's reliance on the landmark 2018 Apex Court judgment of M. Indira Gandhi's squashing of the unilateral conversion of her own children, Farid pointed out that the facts in the legal precedent differed from the present case. Harapan and BN cyber troopers have been told to buck up if they're going to stand a chance to beat PN's mighty social media presence. The Prime Minister's Press Secretary, Tengku Nazrul Tengku Abaida, has urged pro-government cyber troopers to shift into high gear ahead of the state polls. He said this while speaking at an engagement session with pro-government cyber troopers at the UMNO headquarters in Kuala Lumpur last night.
Pesan saya kepada mereka ialah untuk lakukan engagement dengan laskar cyber kita ini dengan lebih berskala besar. Kerana kita akan menghadapi PRN di 6 negeri selepas ini. Jadi kita perlu, tak boleh dah gear low ni, dah kena gear 5, gear 6 untuk pastikan inisiatif kerajaan perpaduan dan untuk pastikan 6 negeri nanti kita mampu lakukan yang terbaik. Ya.
He also urged pro-government cyber troopers to relay and explain the coalition government's policies to the Rakyat on social media. Also present at the session were Anwar's Political Secretary Shamsul Iskandar Akin and UMNO Supreme Council member Luqman Nur Adam. This is the first such engagement session after Pakatan Harapan and BN formed the coalition government following GE15. A focus has been placed on social media to counter Perikatan Nasional's prominent presence and support base on online platforms. PN reportedly spent substantial money to attract younger voters on social media, especially on TikTok. And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Prasad. Thank you for watching.